What's going on, y'all? So got another trade recap for y'all. As you can see, this is a small account trade recap. I took this on my Robinhood account that only had a few $100 in it. It was Nvidia calls earlier this morning, made a little over $200 in profit in just a few minutes. And I wanted to highlight this one because I talk a lot about using capital flow to follow big money. And when I say follow big money, a lot of people automatically think that means you need to have a lot of money in your account. And that's not true at all. Like I said, this was just a small Robinhood account that I have. Made $200. It was a small trade, but still good money for trading on a small account. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So the very first thing that I did this morning is I got on the Capital Flow dashboard, and this is a screenshot. This is a screenshot from mobile from my phone that I took. This was at 9:52 a.m. And the reason I'm showing y'all a mobile screenshot and not the desktop is because I was kind of in a rush this morning and I wanted to highlight the top contracts by premium. So at the time I just took a screenshot on my phone real quick. I was in a rush to get into this trade. And obviously the top contracts by premium update as the day go on, so I can't go back and show you the desktop version. But as of 9:52 a.m. this morning, this is what the top contracts look like. Even before we get into the top contracts, the overall flow is kind of where I start. So I do kind of basically a top-down analysis through the Capital Flow platform. So first I start at the top, look at the overall flow. So there was more money going into calls than there were puts this morning. So that means the overall flow was bullish. So that already lets me know off rip that I can be expecting to play on the call side, and then look at the top contracts to see specifically where some of that money was going. So again, as of 9:52, there's about $530 million that's went into calls. And it looked like at the time, at least half of these contracts that you see up here were Nvidia calls. So the biggest one right here were Nvidia calls that expire this week. That's tomorrow, Friday, 10/13. About 5 million into those. Another same week expiration, a little under 5 million. You got next week expiration. You got some 2024. There were a few 2024 Nvidia calls. There's 2024 here, 2024. There's some next month expirations. A couple of those, and then you got some more same week expirations. But the point is, there were a lot of top contracts that were Nvidia calls, and a lot of them were short term. So immediately that got my attention. Like I said, I was kind of in a rush to get into this trade. Now, normally from here, the next thing I'm going to do is look at the live flow coming in real time. But that's actually not what I did here. I wanted to kind of speed up the process. I felt like this was going to move quick. So I saw this flow coming in, I saw the overall flow, saw the top contracts, and then I immediately checked the chart. So let's get into that. All right, y'all, so this is the Nvidia chart from today. You already know I was watching this at 9:52 a.m. I ended up getting in this trade right after I took that screenshot. So the time was 9:53 when I actually entered this trade. So that was on this candle right here. And like I said, I was kind of in a rush just looking at the flow. But this is what I saw when I looked at the chart that made me know it was time to get in. So you can see right here on this candle, we immediately shot up to this yellow line. This is my R1. You can see this yellow horizontal line. That's a pivot point. This is R1. The level is 470.93. That's also right around where pre-market highs were. So we shot up on the second candle in the first 5 minutes, and rejected. So we rejected right here. And we came down to, I got a few things going on right here. So my purple dotted line, that's VWAP. I have my 8 EMA, my gray line right here, my 21 EMA. I have my 50 SMA. So you can see I have a few indicators at this level. So we came up here and we rejected, but then I have multiple things going on right here, and it looked like we were going to bounce. And we did get a bounce. I saw that we were approaching back up towards this level. Now, under normal circumstances, I would not get in on this candle because at this point it had not yet broken that previous opening range high where it bounced off of the R1 pivot. It looked like the high ended up being 471.34 on this candle exactly right here. So normally I would have waited on a break above that. So I got in this one a little bit early. I did end up getting in this one a little bit early, but again, I saw that it had bounced off of a few levels that I have right here. I saw that we had a lot of momentum. I saw there was a lot of call flow, and for the market to have not even been open for 30 minutes yet, that was definitely a lot of call flow for Nvidia calls. So I did get in a little bit early on this one. Now, normally I would have waited for a clean break of that resistance, which would have been this candle technically. But I was okay with taking that extra risk on this NVIDIA trade just based off the flow that was coming in. So I entered on this candle, and you can see on the very next candle we did get that clean break, and then we also got a retest. So we broke above it and we retested it. So there's a few ways you could have played it right here. If you were already in on this entry that I took, you could have loaded back up on this retest. You could have waited for the break and then maybe average back down when it retested it. But like I said, I got in a little bit early, and it did kind of come back down to my entry on the retest. That's perfectly fine. And you can see it definitely made a strong move to the upside. I ended up taking profit right here at R2, which was 473.81 for about 50%, like you saw. I actually ended up getting a little bit more than was in the Robinhood screenshot, but you know, Robinhood, you got to kind of screenshot it then sell. So I ended up getting right here at 50%, the R2 pivot. It did give a little bit more, but it was definitely a great scalp for the day. You can see for the rest of the day it kind of chopped. It looked like it was going to kind of get back up towards that high, and then we had a crazy market sell-off in the afternoon and NVIDIA dumped. But it was definitely a great morning trade, and again, I just wanted to show y'all that it is possible to make good amounts of money when you have a small account, and I'll even show y'all how I got into my entry. So this is in my Discord, so this is from this morning, October 12th. So like I said, I got in at 9:53, which was exactly a minute after I looked at the top bot contracts on Capital Flow. I said that I'm in NVIDIA 480 calls for the same week, and I sent a snapshot of the weekly flow. So this I looked at after I was already in the trade, but for me, this was just additional confirmation that it was going to be a great trade. So we can zoom in a little bit. So you can see this is at 9:51, and all of these orders are within a few minutes of each other, because the first one is at 9:51, the last one you see on this page is at 9:55, and again, these are all NVIDIA calls that expire this week, this same week. A lot of money going into these, and these are only the ones that could fit in the screenshot. If you were to scroll a little bit more on the Capital Flow page, there were a lot more of these calls coming in. Some of them were even over 7 figures for NVIDIA's same week expirations. So, you know, like we talked about, when you get that repeat flow, you get that breakout on the chart, you know you're going to have a great trade. And for me, this is exactly what I want to see when I use Capital Flow to find trades. You check the overall flow, you see it's bullish, so I know I want to be looking for calls. I check the top contracts to see where that bullish flow is going exactly. I see it's going into NVIDIA. I check the NVIDIA real-time flow. You can see right here, it's a bunch of calls for the same week, short-term expirations. You check the chart, you see it's about to have a breakout. So when you have all those things, that's why I get super excited when I see things like that. That's why I said I was willing to get in a little bit early, because every time I see this type of flow plus chart pattern in the morning, I'm always going to be able to hit on that. I don't want to say always, but I will say 90% of the time those trades hit for me. So again, just great execution. The contracts that I bought were 480 calls for this week, so the total cost was $1.16. So I think I had bought 4 of them in my small account to end up making a little over $200. But even if you had only bought 1 of those, you would have still made a little over $50 profit in about 10 minutes, which is still great money. $50 is not a lot of money, but you know, if you're working with a $100 account, or sorry, if you're just making a $100 trade, about 50%, that's great money. And a lot of people work jobs where they work 8 hours and they don't even get paid $50 an hour. So $50 in 10 minutes is still great money. So you can use Capital Flow even if you have a small account to make money. So that was the purpose of this recap. I hope y'all found it helpful. Definitely a great trade. I knew immediately after I got out, I said I'm going to jump on YouTube today and recap this one. So again, if you want to get started with Capital Flow, the website to go to is capitalflow.app. You'll be able to see what hedge funds, institutions, and multi-millionaire traders are buying in real time. I'm going to put the link in the description. The link also includes a full tutorial video. I know I just talked about one of the features, but there's a lot of things you can do on this website that will help you make money. So check out that full tutorial on the website, capitalflow.app. As you can see, I did signal this live in my Discord. So I let people know that I was in it. A few people made money on this trade with me. So if you want to join my Discord, it's Impact Investments. The link to that will also be in the description as well. So definitely go ahead and like and subscribe this video. Again, I hope y'all found this helpful. Appreciate y'all for watching. Peace.